Well, he's the pilot of the 83 Junior Roth Motorsports entry, as well as frequently will be seen in a Keith Kunz Motorsports Midget. We're talking about Buddy Kofoid out of Penngrove, California. In this interview, we're going to talk about kind of his beginnings with the Northwest before he started racing sprint cars in his native Golden State, talking about his 2023 year, how he linked up with Roth Motorsports, and more. Coming up next on the Dave's Home Supply Getting Up to Speed podcast after these messages. Dave's Home Supply specializes in cabinets, flooring, and countertops. Visit their website at daveshomesupply.com to look at products, services, financing, and even a free estimate. Are you looking for bookkeeping, payroll, or income tax services? Then check out the folks at For You Simple Bookkeeping. They are a licensed tax preparer throughout the entire United States. For more information, click on the link in the description. Well, he hails from the gorgeous and scenic Sonoma County of California, from the city of Penngrove. It is Buddy Kofoid. Buddy, great to have you here. Really looking forward to this chat. It was great catching up with you at Stockton the other day for the tribute to Gary Patterson.
Yeah, no, appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to talking to you. It's been known each other for a while now. I don't know if we've ever talked in an interview before, so it should be fun.
No, I think this is one of the first times. And going back to the first time that we met, for viewers that don't know, you were just getting into sprint cars. I think you'd ran the KWS Light division, and then you came up to Cottage Grove just because you were so young, and you won a full-on 360 race in your first outing.
Yeah. No, so I had some sprint car experience, like I said, with the King of the West Lights. So Dan Simpson, I guess real quick, Dan Simpson was kind of the one that, helped, gave me my first chance, and it was to help my family, of course. But so he owned the King of the West at the time, and then he owned Fernley Speedway in Nevada, and he made like a winged spec sprint series and more or less kind of for me, so I could have something to race and learn and improve myself. And so that was when I was 11, and then it wasn't around the next year, and he had sold King of the West actually that year, I believe, in 2013. And so then the next year when I was 12, that was my last year in the Outlaw carts. And then 2015, when I was 13, got to race in Oregon and Washington and Arizona, and basically places on the West Coast besides California, just due to my age. And Heather and Brian up at Cottage Grove really helped me out where I could even race. So and then that's where we met. And I think my first race at Cottage Grove, I ended up winning that one. So, this is really cool. Well, can't believe how long it's been now.
I know, it feels like yesterday, but it has been some time, almost 10 years when you put it together.
I think about 8, end of 8 years now.
Yeah. And when you say that you came up to Oregon and Washington, I mean, you guys came up to Oregon and Washington. You guys were up here every week for pretty much Cottage Grove, and you guys even made the effort to come to a championship awards banquet too, which showed the dedication that you guys had for this place.
Yeah. So my dad and we had our own sprint car, and we built it over time and ourselves, and kind of did it piece by piece for what we could afford. And, we would, when we race in Oregon, I think we made 25 to 30 trips, I believe, and a lot of it being Cottage Grove, and then the WST stuff and the Speed Week, and then make some Washington trips. And just the goal was to get me as much seat time as possible, and race as much as we could, I guess, with the means we had. And sometimes it was just my dad and I, and either a grandparent or one of my good friends, Brandon LaChance, would be the three of us. And we drive, we'd leave work, or my dad would leave, get home from work, and we'd go, I think probably what is it, 6 or 7 hours to Medford after work, and then finish the rest of the Cottage Grove the next morning and race, and then either go back to Medford or drive 9 hours straight back. So,
Sure.
Sometimes sleeping in the truck at the truck stop, or sleeping in the trailer, and we didn't have a big trailer, and obviously didn't have a sleeper, so we did what we could, but that made it a lot of fun, and it's cool to look back on, and that it's kind of worked out so far, and it's paid off, and so I owe it to my family and everyone that's helped me along the way. But it's like you said, it's cool to kind of reminisce on that, and I think it definitely helped kind of kickstart my career.
Well, and I was just about to say, like, from Cottage Grove to Sonoma County, I've did that drive countless times as well.
I want to say it's got to be 9 hours, right?
In a passenger car, it's at least 8. So, hauling a trailer, and in California, it's minimum 55 if you're towing more than 3 axles, right?
Yeah, so we're probably, but it, I guess, depends what highway, but you're at least 5-10 miles an hour slower than a passenger car on average.
Sure, yeah. Well, I guess it would be 55 here. No, what am I getting at? 60, right? You're capped at 60.
I would say it's between 55 and 65, depending on where you are, I would say.
Yeah.
Where most people are doing 70 to 80, probably.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, let's talk about 2023, and I was just going through my information. I knew this factoid like in late September, I think it was, but then I just double-checked it before we started this interview. You've got 94 starts across sprint cars, midgets, just in the United States. That's not counting your winter tour last year down under. 94 starts, 60 top 10s, 34 top 5s, 21 podiums, and 6 feature victories. That is sensational. You have the most feature starts as of right now, and you've still got lots of racing left here in the States.
Yeah, so I seen the sprint car ratings on Twitter, and that I was tied the most sprint car starts with 87, and I was thinking, how many other races did I do? And so it's funny you bring that up, because I was thinking about that, I think yesterday or probably 2 days ago, and I was probably about where you were, and I was trying to factor in some of the races I did in New Zealand that were in January of 23, just as an overall, I guess, not country secluded. And it was about right there. So then I figured with the races that I will do for the rest of this year, and then I guess I have at least 2 races in New Zealand that are in December. So I think I'll hopefully crest over the 100 mark. So, it's funny to look back on, because it feels like doesn't seem like it's been that much, but then, there's certain times where we went on a stretch of, racing 8 or 9 times in a row, or I think at one point I was probably 20 races in 30 days or something. And so it's just crazy, but, dirt racing in general is, I feel like, in a pretty healthy place right now. And, so I'm just proud to be able to say that I can race that much, and people want to give me the opportunity to race that much.
Yeah, and you mentioned racing New Zealand, the midgets, and then you came stateside to Florida, and Dirt Car Nationals, Volusia Speedway Park, and even East Bay Raceway Park in the Tampa area. You guys came out swinging. I mean, you just had an incredible, and it also spilled over to Devil's Bowl in Texas. You guys had some great runs. You won at TST, Talledega Short Track in Alabama with the Outlaws on March 24th. And I mean, you never really cooled down. You were pretty hot for most part of the year.
Yeah, and it's I guess every year mostly has its ups and downs. But I feel like this year there's quite a bit of ups, and if there was some downs, I was able to figure it out, or we were able to bounce back and then get back consistent and put some good runs together. But yeah, that beginning part of the year, I'd never been to Volusia, and half miles are tough in general, but in wing sprint racing, just the speed and everything's so close, and it's not easy. But I think we finished second the first 2 nights, and I led all. Well, how many did I lead? I don't know. I led until an unfortunate restart with, I think, 5 to go, and then I had been running the bottom, and David went to the top, the one time and made it work in clean air, unfortunately, and got me. So that was a bummer. But to be fast at a place like that and have consistent speed, then I think I had a chance to run second or third again, and then we broke a spark plug and then got collected on a restart, and then I think we were like 6th or 7th and other times. Like you said, we're just having that early consistency, literally the first 2-3 weekends of the year. I always feel like sets your tone for what the rest of the year will look like. So, racing midgets, we started in Florida, and I feel like if you could, I always felt like looking back, at previous years, people that won a race in Ocala, for example, usually was in the championship hunt. And then I think one or both of my championships, we won in Ocala, and then I'm like, okay, hopefully just this sets the tone, and just got to keep on top of it. And, and usually it seems to work out that way. So, just a good year and almost a learning year, if you will, because I haven't done this much wing sprint car racing, I guess, on a national level. I've done it here and there outside of my midget schedule, and now that I don't really have a big midget schedule this year, I was able to branch out back into wing sprint cars and see a lot of really cool races and or see a lot of cool places and compete in a lot of really cool races that I hadn't before.
Well, of the midget racing that you did, you were doing pretty good at. You got a win at Circle City Raceway in Indianapolis on June 3rd with the USAC National Midgets, and if I recall, you guys were on a pretty good wave for that, and then you were leading Indiana Midget Week points, and then kind of switched gears because I think Ohio Speed Week or something came up. I think that's when you went over the Vermeer 55 and ran a little bit with them for about a week or so.
Yeah, so I had planned on running Speed Week anyhow, and then when I left the prior deal that I was at, then I was still trying to put together obviously some stuff to finish my year and fill it. And this was before Roth really, and I'd been in contact with Tony and Jen Vermeer, and they gave me a really good opportunity to run their car for at least Speed Week, and then my Roth deal started to come together, so it was just Speed Week. But so I'd always planned on doing it, but then I guess going back, I told KKM, I'm available for these first 4 midget week races, and if I could do it, I'd love to be able to do it if they'd had me, even though it was just for a part-time thing, and they did, and we ran second at Hobstadt, which until now was notoriously a really bad track for me, and then unfortunately I haven't won there yet, but I think I've finished second 3 times in a row. But if you would have told me that 2 years ago, I would have said you're crazy. But so to open up midget week with a second after not running for I think 5 or 6 months was gave me a lot of confidence, and was comfortable again and back in the midget and with the new crew chief with Bo Bender, and so we had a good 4 days. So I was Tri-State, ran second, and won at Circle City, like you said, and then I had also been running the Indy Race Card 71 for Bernie and Betsy Subjan, and we had planned on running high limit at Eagle in Nebraska. So that was on the day off, because there was two USAC races and then the day off. So then that night of Circle City, we drove to Eagle, raced. I think we ran like 4th, and then drove back. And the next day was back in Indiana and ran Gas City. I think I ran 4th at Gas City, and then won my final night at Putnamville. And then, like you said, the next day was the start of Ohio Speed Week. And didn't win the championship, but tied for the championship. So that was a good little string there. And, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and sometimes traveling that much, because I think Eagle to, well, Indiana to Nebraska is, probably a good 10 hours, which may not sound like much, but when you're leaving a prior track at 10 or 11 at night and you race the next day, it can kind of wear you out. But looking back on it, it was a lot of fun, and it was stuff that I feel like I'll appreciate when I'm older. I do now even.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because you got to go through Illinois. You got to go all the way through Iowa before you get to Nebraska.
It could be longer. I don't even know. It felt like forever.
Yeah, definitely. And then, you mentioned the Roth thing. I remember, what was it, Peter Murphy Classic? That would have been in mid-May. They had an opening. It looked like kind of your schedule was kind of freed up. Tell me about that process when you got that phone call, or was that you reaching out to Todd Ventura? How did that happen?
Yeah, so that's whatever the Sunday of that coming weekend of the Murphy, the same week basically, I had quit the prior ride that I was in, and I think Todd talked to me actually Sunday, and if not Sunday, Monday, and so I didn't have anything at that point, and he had put out running, like the opportunity to run the Murphy, and at the time there was no plan or no idea of anything beyond that at the time, and so then I made that decision Wednesday, then flew out Thursday, then we raced, and I think it was James and I out there too, so we were both racing that, and felt decent the first night, and then really good the second night, and had a steering box issue, and unfortunately couldn't finish, but and then being there and running for them for the first time, we had kind of threw around the idea of maybe getting a second car out on a traveling type of basis, like a true outlaw schedule, and and then that was only in May, and then like I said, then we, as we just talked about, went into Midget Week and did Ohio Sprint Speed Week, and I had been running with Bernie in the 71, and then I did Speed Week only for the 55, and so as the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it was, about a month or so, we had been kind of talking little by little and figuring out what we could do, and then I guess I'd say after Speed Week or middle of June, we kind of finalized it, and they, Dylan Buswell and the crew, they went to California, got it all ready, and then drove it straight to Houston, and then we almost had a good weekend, almost a stellar weekend, and that was our first outing together, because I didn't work with Dylan in California, so it was my second time with Roth, but I guess first with Dylan, so it still felt kind of fresh, and we kind of some different stuff, and yeah, our first weekend together, we almost won the Houston 250, but that was a bit of a heartbreaker, but I feel like that kind of set the tone for me, or at least gave me what I needed going forward, or knowing what the next, 5 months with Roth would be, if you will. So that was really good, and really comfortable, and I was just having a lot of fun, and that was important to me, and you gotta enjoy what you're doing to be good at it, and we were all enjoying it and get along well, and so always be appreciative of Dennis and Teresa Roth and Todd Ventura for helping me get back on my feet, and giving Dylan and I the opportunity to work together too.
Well, and I was going to say, like, right about the High Banks time, you kind of just were put in the role and have settled in the role nicely, and you guys have definitely been a threat at whichever racetrack that you've visited to, and no doubt, lots of new racetracks for you. I'm sure that you hadn't really been to before.
Yeah, so there's like I said, we got to run a lot of cool races that I had run before, but then, with my sprint car schedule pretty much being full time, it allowed me to go to places that I hadn't been to before, and go to races that maybe I hadn't been able to compete at before, just because I was committed to the midget side, like the King's Royal, being one I never ran the King's Royal before, and then obviously got to run the million. I think we ran 7th at the million from 20th, and had to run the B, I think. So that was a really good run for us, considering, how tough that field was and that we were in the B. And, and then running the Nationals again, and ran 8th at the Nationals and locked in, through our prelim night, which is a big, probably one of the biggest weights lifted off your shoulders, at least, so you don't have to run Friday. So that was cool. And like I said, picked up a win at Placerville with the Outlaws back at home. It was really cool. And, won at Chico during the Gold Cup. I think we had chances to win other races, whether it was, unfortunately, didn't happen because of maybe just an issue or something out of our control, or, probably could be something that I maybe misread or misjudged. But working with Dylan has been a true pleasure, and I feel like it's made me better. And like I said, it's just helped me have fun and enjoy what I was doing, and I think that made us better. So always appreciate that, and love to keep doing it. And I love where I'm at with Roth.
Well, and you guys had such a good fall, and you alluded to that. Won a prelim at Gold Cup, the Friday night prelim. All California in the for the 3 nights, picking up the victories. And then a week later at Placerville, able to do a splendid job at the 49er Gold Rush Classic at Placerville.
Yeah, no, it was we had I guess just focusing on that, we had a pretty good West Coast swing, I would say. With Gold Cup, we were, ran 1st and 3rd, and then I feel like I've not been that comfortable or that good in Hanford, just from racing in California and growing up here the last, since 2016. And, but we, went out last, and I think we were a quick time and got on the dash and ran, I don't know where we ran in the dash, but I think we were 6th or 7th in the feature, which isn't great, but I guess wasn't bad for me, just considering that place has been more of a thorn in my side, if you will. And then, but we still had good speed, good momentum, and I felt just exceptionally well at Placerville. And I owe pretty much all that to Dylan and the crew. So it's just it's a narrow place, but it's just hard to be consistently smooth, just with the big curve and how narrow the track is, and it's hard to get away from people just because the pace is so fast. And, like I said, big ledge, and then there's a bottom you can finesse, and it not being wide makes it chaotic, but it was a lot of fun. And, that was by far the best I've ever felt at Placerville. And, it was cool to pick up another outlaw win, and then now it being, kind of in my home state and kind of close to where I grew up. So, just really, really proud of that. But I was just so proud of the crew, and just the speed we had in the car just gave me a ton of confidence, and that made me almost just as happy as winning, just knowing how good I felt.
Well, and then you guys closed out the NARC schedule with their last couple races, the dirt track at Kern County Raceway. You guys finished 2nd to Corey Day, and then really put a big statement on November 4th with a win at Stockton Dirt Track at the Tribute at Gary Patterson on a pretty physically demanding surface. We'll just say that.
Yeah, no, it was cool to, so actually, I'll rewind a little bit. After Placerville, you know, when we put the deal together with Roth and with Toyota, we were only probably going to be able to do 40 to 45 races. And Placerville was like our 45th race. So like, oh, well, hopefully we were kind of feeling it out, but we wanted to get back out to the Midwest and kind of finish off because there's still a bunch of races to do there. And so then the next day, I think Sunday or Monday after Placerville, they said, oh yeah, we can, like, they're going to send us back out. So, I was happy. We were all happy that we were going to go back out to the Midwest and did, I think, Williams Grove, Port Royal, and I think Lakeside. And we had a handful. I had a couple high limit races and then came back for Trophy Cup. And then, we hadn't planned on going back to Charlotte just because we had made 2 trips to California and wanted to end there and to do the last couple NARC shows, just in front of, for Roth and myself being in California, it just made sense and was nice to compete close to home, I guess, if you will. And, like I said, had a good run at Kern, felt really good there, felt really good at Stockton. And, that Speedway Toyota motor, it's fairly new and, it's something I haven't ever felt before. And I told him, man, if we can get a big track that's got some grip in it, this thing will be lights out. And I said, I hope Stockton's going to be wet or at least have some grip in it. I think will be good. And,
Sure.
And sure enough, it had grip times 10 all night. So, no, it was good to finish off the sprint car year, I guess, if you will, with, winning at Stockton, a place that I've always wanted to win there. And I really have enjoyed that place quite a bit. So, and then it to be a tribute to Gary Patterson, makes it that much more special. So, cool to then happy to get that one, but my arms weren't totally up for the task at the end of that one.
Sure. Well, and when you think about it, the last 410 winner on the 3/8 configuration, because word on the street is it's going down to, at first I heard it was a quarter mile, but it sounds like it's going to be a third mile. So.
Yeah, it's funny. I've heard the same thing, but I just, it's hard to know what's actually going to happen or not going to happen. And, but like I said, I've heard it a lot too. So, I guess that's kind of a cool feather in your cap, if you will. So, always enjoyed Stockton. I like that it is or was a bigger track, but, I believe Nassetti and all them will do, a great job in trying to make it even better than it is now, but now with just a different configuration. So should be interesting to see, but, I guess didn't think about it. I guess I'm the last one.
Well, something we definitely can talk about that we know that's happening is the USAC National Midget Series in your home state, Tuesday night at Bakersfield, and then, talking about getting close to that 100 mark. I mean, you've got 5 upcoming shows, 2 days for the Hangtown 100 at Placerville, 2 days at Merced, and Turkey Night Grand Prix at Ventura. You're the defending winner of the Hangtown 100, and I think for some people that have never been to some of these races, I think they're in for a real treat.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Midget racing is tough right now, and it has been for a while, but especially the last few years, I just feel like the competition and the equipment, everything just really elevated itself as a whole. And, it's same thing, like I said, with running sprint cars at Placerville. It's hard to get away from the other guy just because of how tight the racing is, but that's midgets 24/7
Sure.
at any track. It's hard to get away from guys and try and breathe almost, if you will, just because, they're right there, and it's one small thing, and you can almost expect someone to slide you or throw something at you. So, midget racing is aggressive, but it's close and it's tough and it's always exciting. And then, bring it to a place like Placerville and really most of the tracks on this West Coast swing, I feel are really, really fun and put on great racing and certainly should be enjoyable for everyone watching. So, like I said, looking forward to Placerville. Hopefully, can defend that again, and but also looking forward to places like Merced and Ventura. I feel like I've been close, but want to win Turkey Night really bad. So, this whole West Coast swing is it's a good time, and I've always enjoyed it, but I enjoy it now that I'm not under the stress of a championship and points. So it'll be good for everyone, I feel like.
Well, and it's so hard to believe, but like the Bakersfield race, and I might have talked about this with the interview with Drake York, I can't remember, but that's the biggest track you guys go to on this West Coast. They measure it as a third mile. To me, it looks and races like a quarter mile, but
yeah,
it's quarter miles or smaller from here on out.
Yes, I didn't even think about that because it feels. I mean, it looks small, but racing out there, it feels small. Like I feel like down the backstretch, you almost have a consistent arc from exit of 2 to entrance of 3, just because how the track's shaped and the straightaways feel pretty short. But I didn't know that. But Bakersfield's really fun, and I've always enjoyed running there. And like I said before, all the tracks that we get to go to for the swing, I feel are really good and put on good racing. And I feel like Merced being one of them. So everyone seems to really like Merced, including myself. And I feel like that's one of the better tracks we actually get to go to for this swing. But also Placerville is just special to me just because that's where I kind of cut my teeth first starting sprint cars, I guess, if you will, and 100 laps, and the money it pays and all that is really good, and it's unique, and that's what everyone wants to see.
And of course, getting an Aggie at the end of the day, for Turkey Night Grand Prix, that's a mark that only a selective amount of drivers have been able to achieve.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like I can do it. I feel like our car's capable, and I feel like we're all capable, and obviously things got to go right. And I think it was 2021. Logan, Stevie, and I went back and forth, and I led a lot, and he led a lot, and I'd get it back, and we go back and forth, and it was a good race. And then unfortunately it took rubber, but he was leading when it took rubber, and then he won, and I ran second. So then last year, I think I was running. I think I led a little bit of that too, and then fell back to second or third, and then just had an issue, and that kind of ended my run. But man, I feel like I'm right there, and I feel like we're all capable of doing it. Like I said, just gotta hopefully put it all together, and hopefully I can get it.
No doubt. People that you want to thank, sponsors you want to thank that have made 2023 possible. I know that there's been a lot of folks that have made it possible, and I just want to have you have the floor for a moment to acknowledge them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Toyota and Mobile One, first and foremost, have done a lot for me the last, I guess, 4 years now. So just super thankful and appreciative for everything that they did and still do for me, and letting me race. And then, of course, Keith Kunz Motorsports and Roth Motorsports have been really big for me this year. And they've done a lot for me and all the crew and their sponsors for everything that keeps them racing is very much appreciated. And of course, when I was kind of in between, Tony and Jen Vermeer, really helped me out a lot, even if it's just for Speed Week to keep me busy. So I'll always be appreciative of that and their friendship. They've been great people to get to know. And, I still feel like they're in my corner and always wish me luck, even when I'm not running for them. So I feel like that's really not hard to come by, but you don't see that often. And, even when you're competing against someone else's own car and they're wishing you best of luck means a lot. And, I ran with Bernie and Betsy before last year, but, of course, Bernie and Betsy with Indy race parts for, giving me the chance to run their car again for a while. And, just the opportunity to drive their car has always meant a lot to me, but also appreciate their friendship and everything they've done. And, just a lot of good people that helped me out and that kept me busy when I was between stuff. And then now, with being with Roth and still splitting my time with KKM is just been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on, buddy. For when things get rolling for 2024, is there a good website or is there a good social media page that folks can go to, or if they perhaps want to purchase some apparel from you?
Yeah, of course. So I guess my racing page on Facebook is Buddy Kofoid Racing. And my website, which will have new items soon, or actually now, but it'll also have my schedule, or if it doesn't get updated, it will have my schedule on there eventually for whatever I'm doing, but that's by buddykofoid.com. And then just my Twitter and Instagram is Michael Kofoid, and usually that gets updated pretty frequently. And active on all that, but just my name and racing pretty much.
Awesome. Simple as that. Well, this has been an enjoyable conversation, and it's been great to catch up. And we'll definitely be checking in on you in 2024, and obviously wish you the best for the rest of 2023.
Yeah, no, of course. I appreciate the opportunity to do this, and it's been nice talking to you, Ben. Hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Well, that is going to do it for this interview. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure and hit the like and subscribe button on whatever platform you found this interview at. It really helps us grow the channel, and we greatly appreciate it. In the meantime, we'll be back with more content and interviews in the future. Be sure and have a great evening or a great rest of your day, whatever time you're listening.